Hello, we are here in Chennai, and the gentleman that we have with us, we are honored to have him because we have with us Mr. Nikhil Ranjan, who needs no introduction to the fountain pen fraternity. A, because of the way he started William Penn what now seems so many years back, which was in effect our first faltering steps into the digital world. The pen and ink's journey into the digital world was started by him. It was nurtured over the years by him, and he had so many physical stores. Then came Corona, which was a kind of a disruptor in the sense so many things changed. And after Corona, he sprang a real bombshell on the fountain pen community around the world when he announced the takeover of Sheaffer's. Just imagine an Indian company going on to take over one fountain pen brand, which is probably among the first three brands that come to your mind, to anyone's mind, anywhere in the world. So, sir, first, congratulations. And now, how did this Sheaffer's, takeover come about? If you please tell our, viewers.
Sure. Thank you so much, Chomda, for having this conversation with me. And I'm always happy to speak to people who are associated with the world of writing, because writing is close to my heart. And I started William Penn way back in 2002 as a single store selling stationery, and very soon I realized that people who came to the store were particularly interested in fountain pens and pens in general, and that's how we morphed into a store specializing in writing instruments. So our second store that we opened way back in 2004 was a store dedicated largely to writing. While we were looking at curating a world-class range of products for our stores, we came across brands from around the world, and we contacted them because back then these brands were not available in India. Very few brands had distributors in India, but most brands were not available in India, largely because of the high import duties that existed in India back then. So it was an opportunity for me to talk to these brands directly and tell them about India, tell them about us as a company, as a retail store, and requested them if they could do business with us. They were surprised to hear that here was a company willing to do business in a straightforward manner, in the sense that we were willing to pay the import duty that existed back then. And that's how business began with many of the brands from around the world, and one of them was Sheaffer. So we started doing business with Sheaffer way back in 2003. To begin with, we were buying for our store, and very soon we thought it was an opportunity for us to distribute Sheaffer in the country as an exclusive distributor. So somewhere in 2004, 2005, we became the exclusive distributors for Sheaffer in India, and we started selling Sheaffer to everybody in India. You know, interestingly, those days, Sheaffer was already well known because Sheaffer pens were being imported into India somehow. By various channels, pens were coming into India, but we were surprised that we were the first official distributors that Sheaffer ever had in India. So we then sold to small retailers, large retailers, attracted pen collectors, attracted people who were fascinated with the brand in general, and so on. Over the next 15 odd years, 16 odd years, we grew the brand in India, and Sheaffer was available through department stores, bookstores, pen specialists, gift stores, and William Penn stores. And somewhere during the period of COVID, 2009, 2021, we realized that Sheaffer pens were not easily available, and we talked to the brand and said, we see that there is a disruption in the supply chain. Is there something more to this? Because we are interested in continuing to sell the brand. There is plenty of opportunity, plenty of scope, and so on. And one thing led to the other, and before we knew it, there were talks about the possibility of acquiring the brand. Well, initially it seemed quite overwhelming, but having thought about it, it was only natural for us, having had such an affinity to the brand as their exclusive distributor in India for close to 2 decades, to go ahead and acquire the brand. Primarily because it gave us an opportunity for us to determine the future of the brand. We certainly had a lot of regard for the brand, love for the brand. We were passionate about what we were doing. And here was an opportunity for us to shape the future of such a renowned brand. And we said yes. It seems like a bold move, but nothing ever comes without taking a few risks. So that's how this acquisition was culminated. So it's not overnight that it happened. I can easily say that it was 20 years in the making.
I have a very interesting side question here, because Sheaffer's is not the first international brand that you've taken over.
Right.
Because if you think of Lapis Bard, which was originally a Conway Stewart brand, not many people, hardly anybody knows about it. People hear stories about Conway Stewart, but people don't know that you own Lapis Bard and you acquired it so long back. How had that happened?
So when I look at all these various incidents, somehow they're all connected in a sort, and let me explain. I'll come back to your question, but it was only because we had acquired Lapis Bard a few years ago, and the fact that we were actively looking into product development, brand building, supply chain, and so on, that it gave us the confidence to acquire a much, much larger brand of Sheaffer, right? But coming back to your question, in the mid 2013-14, we realized that because of the onset of digital devices, writing by itself was not as popular as it was in the past when it comes to writing in the premium segment or writing instruments in the premium segment. So when we looked at our own business at William Penn, we realized that a lot of products were being gifted. People were coming to our stores to buy products to gift it to others. So we looked at what other products that we could add to supplement just writing instruments, which could be a nice gift, typically for a man. So that's when we realized that there was an opportunity for us to acquire Lapis Bard and extend the range of products that Lapis Bard was making into accessories other than writing instruments. So that's one of the reasons why we acquired Lapis Bard in 2016. We extended the range and we curated a range of leather accessories, bags, and so on. And so that, like I said, gave us a lot of confidence when we had this new opportunity of acquiring Sheaffer.
So there's another slightly maybe unrelated question, but in William Penn, I guess you were the first in so many things. One is the way you went into pens and everything. Two is the way you focused on the official channels to get into the thing, make the official channels popular, for that matter. Previously, buying a pen was going to some shady shop somewhere, and you got it up front on your face. Number three is that you probably took a very innovative approach to the whole thing by looking at the man and accessorizing him in so many different ways where he could pamper him or he could be pampered. Now, this was also a first from a company in India, first for India. What do you think? How has this market or this particular niche of the market developed?
So when you look back, you can connect the dots. But one of the advantages that we have is we are able to react to what a customer wants. So often we do not have all the answers, but you get a lot of answers by talking to people, asking people, making mistakes. It's not that we have not made mistakes, not done wrong things. Certainly we have, but we have learned from our mistakes. So like in any business, it's always a bit of trial and error, making sure that you don't repeat the mistakes that you've made in the past, which is what's going to help you, move forward. So to answer your question, it's really about reacting to what customers were seeking, asking customers what they wanted, asking what else they would want to see in a store like ours, and responding to that need.
So, I mean, going back to Sheaffer's, what are your plans now? Now that Sheaffer's is a William Penn brand, what are your plans? Because there are some timeless instruments that are owned by Sheaffer's, timeless sub-brands within Sheaffer's, like brands people will kill for, collectors will kill for even today. So what are your plans? Because you now own everything. It's the complete basket. It's not just the Sheaffer's brand. And where will you be producing all these pens?
Sure. So one thing I can tell you is that we are extremely passionate about what we are doing, and we consider it a privilege to own a brand with such a legacy as Sheaffer. So we also know, the story of Sheaffer and what Sheaffer meant to the world of fine writing, and it's our responsibility to uphold that respect that the brand has today. So it's really about looking at the core of what Sheaffer stood for, which is excellence in writing, innovation in fountain pen technology, which are going to be the core pillars which will drive us forward. Having said that, we also have to realize that we need to attract and appeal to younger audiences. So we have to talk to them about subjects that they would like to hear or they take a liking for. For example, we released a coffee edition range last year. Now look at coffee culture today. I mean, that's such a large coffee culture around the world. Young people, old people, they're all thronging to coffee shops, not just to have coffee, but it's about being seen in a coffee shop. So we latched on to that subculture of coffee and came out with this beautiful edition that was the Sheaffer Coffee Edition. So, of course, we had to make sure that our core of fine writing continued, but through this form of a coffee edition. So this is just an example of how we wish to remain true to our core, but yet appeal to newer, younger audiences going forward. So the future is also going to be a combination of writing, but yet at the same time appealing to people about things that they are passionate about. So we will have a collaboration that's coming up later this year with a popular brand we will be announcing in a couple of months. We're going to be relaunching the Legacy, which will feature the inlaid nib that has not been in production for the last 10 plus years. So that's going back to the core, going back to history. Next year we are launching fine writing instruments largely in the fountain pen space, again with very innovative materials and innovative fountain pen technology. So this will continue. So both from the technology and innovation side and from the marketability point of view.
Another thing, Sheaffer's had a global presence, a worldwide presence, and they also had a distribution network. Now, have you or are you thinking in terms of using that network to take Indian products abroad, just the way you are bringing, these timeless brands, these legacy brands into India? is there any possibility of taking something from India and reaching out to the world? Because our pens are also coming of age, pens and inks and other accessories.
Sure. So it's not so much about something out of India taking overseas. When you say that Sheaffer is a brand that's owned by our group, it happens to be Indian owned. However, the philosophy is going to be the same as what it was 100 years ago, right? For us, the core is about making beautiful products, well-designed products that work very well and have an outstanding performance in the hands of the consumer. For us, that's important, and it does not matter where it is produced, right? Back then, it was produced in Fort Madison, Iowa, in the United States. But many years ago, that factory shut down. Maybe close to 2 decades ago, the Fort Madison factory shut down, and it was produced in many other parts of the world. So we will produce probably anywhere in the world, including probably in India, right? But however, we'll make sure that we stay true to the quality that Sheaffer has always been known for.
So, I mean, what are your immediate plans apart from the relaunch of the legacy brand? What else are you thinking for Sheaffers and what can fountain pen enthusiasts like us, like our viewers, look at you for in the near future?
Sure. So like I mentioned, it's going to be two-pronged. We will continue to innovate in fountain pens. In the immediate future, we're going to bring back or relaunch some of the classic designs. And the other part of it would be using storytelling as a marketing technique to talk about Sheaffer and the relevance of writing, relevance of Sheaffer in today's world. So these are the two aspects that will go hand in hand. Products wise, every year we'll be launching new products. Last year we launched the coffee. This year we're going to be launching a very exciting collection by August, which is called the Expressions range. Towards the end of the year, just before the holiday season, we'll be announcing our collaboration and launching our range with this popular brand that I was talking about. Next year, we're going to be looking at accessories around writing, and the journey continues.
So what would you like to say to our viewers? Because not only are you a fountain pen personality, not only are you a owner of William Penn and Sheaffers, you are also a role model to many youngsters. The way you have, broken all barriers and shot up. So what message do you have for young people like us?
For me, I followed my passion. And my passion was initially wanting to make sure that every customer who walked into the store went back delighted. Later on, as we started looking at products more seriously, that passion turned into wanting to make beautiful products that people were truly excited about. And as long as I can build a business around this passion, probably we'll all be successful, and maybe there's a message over there, right? So when passion and business come together, I think there is nothing that cannot be possible, right? Because at the end of the day, let's understand that this is a business, right? And in order for the brand to succeed, the business has to succeed. So I do understand that the business has to have its objectives of making money and so on. But at the same time, if we can continue to make beautiful products and continue to inspire people using writing instruments, continuing to write, I think there is something for all of us to look forward to in the future. We are sitting here at Chennai, on the sidelines of our Chennai Pen Show. Look at the amount of interest there is. Look at the number of youngsters. Look at the number of collectors who are coming in talking about their collections. I was overhearing somebody just by this by the side of this table a few minutes ago that he said his personal collection has 1,600 fountain pens that he's collected over his lifetime. Wow, there are not many people like that, and yet this art continues. So I'm so excited about what I'm seeing today and excited about the future.
How does, from where you stand, you have a, vantage view of the entire fountain pen industry. How does it look to you? Is it growing? Is it exciting? Is there a bright future? Are young people coming in? How does it look?
Look, there is no doubt about the influence of digital devices, and that's here to stay. Okay, we're all going to use our phones, we're all going to use devices to communicate, devices in our daily lives. But my own take is that both digital and analog will coexist, right? However, having said that, people making products, analog products, will have to make sure that they do something that is different. They do something that is inspiring, motivating, and so on, and that appeals to people. One thing is quality. Quality is hygiene. Over quality comes design. Over that comes the ability to do storytelling and so on. And I'm talking about the segment that we are in. I'm not talking of the school stationery or the functional stationery, where probably the drivers could be slightly different. I mean, quality and design is absolutely relevant at all levels. But at the segment that we are in, I think it needs to appeal to people, right? And that's something that I can see happening a lot more if we are to succeed. And I see a lot of people who are doing that and progressing well.
Thank you. I think that will be enough. We won't disturb you anymore. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking.
Thank you so much, Chomda, and more power to you and Inked Happiness. And I hope you continue to spread the wonderful message of fine writing and the love for writing across the world. My best wishes to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.